Hi everyone. Hello, hello, hello. How are you today? Hi. I'm gonna let everybody start to come on. So today it is time for a fertility hot seat. Who's ready? And this is how it works. You guys are gonna request to join me live, and then at random I'm gonna pick one of you, and I'm going to do a free 15-minute fertility consultation and give you some advice based on my clinical experience, my 2 decades of helping women get and stay pregnant. This is not medical advice, right? So anything I tell you or recommend, you need to clear with your healthcare team. This is just advice based on what I'm gathering, the information I'm getting from you in this short consult together. And so what you have to do to request to join me live is there's a plus button at the bottom of your screen. You need to be on a phone, not a computer, in order for this to work. And then when you come live, you also need to be aware that you're going live to my entire community, right? So your sharing is going to help others. Our conversation is going to help others, and that's the plan. I know a lot of practitioners love to tune in here too, and they like to learn and kind of see what I'm thinking and where I'm going with my thoughts. And clients, of course, clients, all of the followers love to get my information as well. So I'm going to let people start to come on. I think we have a few right now, but I'm going to let a few more accumulate. For those of you that are brand new to me, welcome. I'm Amy Raup. I am a women's health and fertility, I don't like the word expert. I'm trying not to use expert anymore. And I don't like the word guru either. Advocate. I like the word advocate. Educator. Empowerer. Is that a word? I've been in this space for 2 decades as an acupuncturist and herbalist. I'm also the best-selling author of a handful of books, 2 in the space of women's health and fertility. And I've had the honor of helping thousands of women bring home their dream babies after most of them were being told they couldn't, or their eggs were all bad, or things like that. I myself got pregnant naturally in my 40s. I've also had a miscarriage. I understand loss on that level. And yeah, I love doing this. I love coming out and supporting and helping and educating and empowering. And I also work hand in hand with many fertility doctors, and I love integrative medicine. I have a very strong background in Western medicine, biology, chemistry degrees. And so I like to bring it all together and get you the best advice so you can get to baby as fast as possible. And also create a healthy pregnancy and a healthy baby and bring that baby into a healthy home. So let's see. We have some people joining. Okay, I'm just going to go with it. We will do this. And let's see. Let's give her a second to join. Instagram. Are you working? I don't know what just happened. I'm going to accept you one more time, Stephanie. And then if not, I'll move on to someone else. And yeah, so guys, it's a fertility hot seat here. I think it said you couldn't join, my love. So I'm going to go to the next one. Sophia, let's see if this works. Let's let someone join us. Here we go. Hello.
Is it me?
It's you.
Oh my God. Okay.
Hi.
Hi.
You got picked. How are you?
Not expecting this. Good.
Well, the one I chose before you didn't come on, so
okay.
It was meant to be yours. Yeah. Hi.
But yeah, I'm good.
It's okay. You're perfect. Don't worry. And then it's a conversation between us, and some people are listening. That's all.
Okay.
Tell me what's going on. How can I help?
So I'm 44.
Okay.
I have one healthy child who's 7.
Okay.
I had no issues getting pregnant.
Okay.
At 35, 36, whatever that was. I had issues with getting pregnant for my second time. I had 1 miscarriage in 2019.
Okay.
It was at the 6-week mark, so I mean, there's no testing. I passed it naturally. I didn't have a DNC or anything like that. And then I got pregnant again later that year.
Okay.
And unfortunately, I lost him at 36 weeks.
Oh, baby.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
Sorry. I knew I was gonna
No,
cry.
it's okay. I mean, that sucks. It
Um,
sucks.
so
What happened was they said it was like a cord or?
they said it was a placental abruption.
Oh
Um,
God. Okay.
and then they said it was atypical preeclampsia. I had no symptoms. I had no high blood pressure.
Right.
I had no elevated enzymes, and they said it was like atypical HELP syndrome. I think they were just throwing names at it because they literally have no idea. And then they found, well, I was like, there has to be a reason for this. There's just no, can be no reason. I mean, sometimes there is.
Yeah.
And then I did some blood clotting panels. Good. And then it turns out I have factor 5 and factor 2.
Wow. Okay. That's significant. Yeah.
Which is significant,
yeah.
which no one was saying that it could lead to the loss, but I mean, even 23andMe says it could lead to a loss.
And it could lead to the placental abruption. Like it could lead to poor blood flow to the placenta, which could compromise the health of the child, right? Yeah.
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 Oh,
someone just wrote, "I am hugging you." That's so sweet.
And so that was in 2020. So I've really been trying for another 4 years now.
Oh, okay.
I did IVF. I did 4 rounds of IVF.
Okay.
I had 1 PGT normal.
Okay.
Out of 30. Who knows? Like so many, right? I failed to implant.
Okay.
So nothing even happened.
And were you taking like a baby aspirin or Lovenox for the transfer? Okay.
Lovenox and baby aspirin.
Okay.
And then I had a low mosaic that also failed to transfer.
Okay.
My lining checks are never that great.
Okay.
I barely get up to I get up to 7.
Okay.
And that's their minimum.
Yeah. Have you had a hysteroscopy since the loss?
So funny. So I found you. I met with Sarah.
Okay.
Hello.
I love my Sarah.
She's amazing.
She's amazing.
He told me to get a hysteroscopy, so I had one literally 2 weeks ago. They found some scar tissue. Mm-hmm. They cleared it out. Okay. They did a biopsy. Nothing came back. No chronic endometritis or anything like that.
Okay.
I tried to do the receptive at that time, and they said that they have to do it at a different point in cycle, so I have to go back for that.
Okay. Maybe. Let's keep talking. I don't know that. Dr. Vidali, who I think I just saw come on here, I think he would say, I don't know, what would you say, Dr. Vidali? I think you say it's like 80% accurate, the Receptiva. I would almost recommend, he has testing, it's called the Pregmune test, Pregmune, where it would go deeper than just those clotting factors and look at any other inflammatory markers that could be going on and that could be compromising. But it could also been that the scar tissue has impacted your ability to implant again. I think that could be a very reasonable explanation. It's just that 36-week loss makes you really think of something was going on. It could have been the clotting factors, and now you're going to treat for that. And then thyroid, vitamin D, all that's been checked and has been in optimal range. Yeah,
thyroid is fine. My D, Sarah had it was low, so she has me on a supplement now.
Okay. And then I'm assuming we've told you to go down a good dose of fish oil, right? A higher dose of fish oil. I would be on, I like the proteolytic enzymes too, which will do that with do you have anything else going on in your health? Any autoimmune conditions, any weird chronic symptoms?
I developed psoriasis in my scalp.
Okay.
2 years ago.
Okay.
So I'm reading that trauma and autoimmune is linked.
Sure. So it can be linked. For me, it's it's one of those my ears go up of what's going on there? It's just some kind of inflammatory situation. I'd probably still start with the way we do the elimination diet and just try to find out your trigger foods, and then also I would go back to, so the IVFs, you were doing standard IVF growing out to day 5, that kind of thing.
Yes.
And what was the typical medications you were doing? What was the dosing?
A mean, typical manicure and gonal F, like
Okay.
high, like at the end it was like, you know, I want to say like 300 gonal and like really like 150 menopure.
And who were you with? Can I ask? If
I
you want to
was
say.
with Shady Grove. I'm in Maryland, so I was with Shady Grove Fertility. And then I did one cycle at CCRM in Northern Virginia.
Yeah, I'd almost, so right now, are you thinking more IVF? Are you thinking trying naturally? Where's your head at?
So I've been trying naturally for a year now.
Okay.
And then obviously there's nothing.
Yeah.
And
then
then
sperm's been rechecked and that's all fine.
yeah, I mean, sperm was checked a year ago.
Okay. I maybe would repeat that personally.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. I don't know. I'm thinking some IUIs now that I did a diet.
Okay.
Um,
And what changed? If anything, did psoriasis get better? Any other symptoms shift or change?
Unfortunately, the psoriasis did not get better. I started taking an immunosuppressant because it was so bad that I couldn't even part my hair. Like, that's how much growth was there.
What kind of immunosuppressant?
Tremfya. It's like once every 2 months.
Okay. So it's like a biologic, like injectable?
It's a biologic.
Okay.
Yeah. So I started taking that. I've been on that for like 5 months now.
Okay. And what are your periods like? Are they?
Honestly, they are not. I don't think they're that great. Like, they're very regular, but I have just light flow. Like,
Did you have that prior to this 36-week loss?
I did. Yeah.
Okay.
I always had well, in my 20s, I had a great flow, and then birth control for 10 years. After that, it changed. Like, I stopped getting that like heavy flow.
Okay.
I bleed for like 2 days, basically.
Okay. And then, like you said, the lining is on the thinner side for transfers too. That's what they've been told.
Yeah, they give me estrogen to like boost it up, and it gets up to 7 and change, and then that's their cutoff, and I basically just meet their cutoff.
Right. Yeah, I mean, I think things like obviously the hysteroscopy is where I would have gone first, and you've just gotten that done. So I think there's one piece that is like maybe the scar tissue has been the issue all along. The scar tissue could be the issue with the lining. So if we see the periods change and shift, I think that's something clear to us that the scar tissue was impacting the ability for the lining to build and impacting implantation. So that could be why we haven't fallen pregnant. And then the other thing is, yeah, like, so you have a good reserve, it sounds like you're collecting a good amount. We're just not growing out to blast well.
Yeah. I think like 10 the first time, like 8. I feel like for my age, they're like, wow, your numbers are really good. And yeah, I can't get any past. I mean, I ended up like the last one was like probably my worst. I had 2 and they just didn't grow to blast.
Yeah. So, I mean, there's a couple thoughts there too of like the medication protocol was probably too aggressive for you. So even though you have a good reserve, you are a woman in your 40s. And I believe the research is getting more and more clear on this, that lower dose meds seem to do better. There's Dr. Murphy, who I'm good friends with and work closely with. He doesn't use Menopur in any woman over the age of 40 because he thinks it really compromises egg quality.
Okay.
So there's like more like you could go to the route of what I would call like more of the boutique IVF clinics where they're smaller, they're willing to do mini or low dose, low stim IVF. Or the other side of it is you've gotten pregnant naturally. Do we just go back? Yeah, maybe IUIs increase your odds. Or we're going back to trying naturally. I would get sperm rechecked. You've already done the hysteroscopy. I would do all our things that we're telling you to do: castor oil packs, acupuncture, Chinese herbs, the diet, the increase the fish oil, like the vitamin D. Low vitamin D is linked to poor implantation rates too. So getting vitamin D up is really important. And it's either trying natural. I mean, you've been doing that for a year, so maybe it's starting with some IUIs, seeing how that feels with trigger and timed intercourse, or it's going to mini low stim IVF and maybe not growing out to blast. And because I always think about it like this, of like, if you're willing to take the risk trying naturally at home, with getting pregnant with a genetically abnormal and miscarrying,
Yeah.
then are you willing to take that same risk transferring day threes? And I feel like we see more success, at least from what I can see clinically, women 44, 45 higher day threes and fresh transfers,
Okay.
maybe frozens. It kind of depends on some things, but that's another option for you to think about, because you have the eggs in there. But I would really kind of hang your hat on, which is frustrating, really frustrating, that none of your clinics did a hysteroscopy on a woman who had a 36-week loss. That's honestly, I fucking think it's unethical. But and then to do a transfer and to not have looked in the uterus, I think it's baffling to me. But it's neither here nor there. That scar tissue could have been the reason all along, to be honest, that nothing's happened since. I know. It's good that the endometrial biopsy came back clear. And I think too, the psoriasis and the biologics, so that is making me think like there could be some autoimmune stuff going on. So if you wanted to do more testing to collect more data, I think the Pregmune would be the smart way to go. And then it's finding a physician who will run those tests for you. I find that Kindbody, they're kind of everywhere. I know there's one in that area where you are. They seem very open to running tests on my patients. I can get them to do the Pregmune testing. You don't have to do fertility treatments with them. You can act like you're gonna, or you could just say, I want to get this testing done. Would you do this? You could also do a consult with Vidali and Thornton and get it run that way. They're in New York, but they work, they'll work with you. And you do the Pregmune, and then you would pay additional for him to review and then make recommendations. But there's also, where are you again? You're in the DC area?
I'm in Annapolis.
Annapolis, okay. I have some names on my website. I'm just trying to think. There's definitely clinics who take the Pregmune and those results more seriously, especially like in a case like yours, because now you're technically you've had 2 miscarriages, and then I would also, and since you worked with Sarah too, and I'm sure she's so thorough, but make sure that we've run the complete clotting factor panel, because a lot of times they do a third of it or 2/3 of it. They don't do the whole thing. I mean, you already, no matter what, would be doing the Lovenox upon a positive, right? Yeah. And so baby aspirin up and 2, and then what about like has steroids ever helped the psoriasis? Did you ever try like a prednisone or?
I did topical steroids. I don't think anything other than that.
Okay.
And that did not help.
It did not help. Okay. And nothing's helped since. So it could be the low vitamin D. And then we put you on higher dose fish oil, right? Yeah. I'm assuming.
I'm taking like the one Sarah recommended, like Thorne Super EPA.
Perfect. And then 2 of them a day. Yeah. And then the 3 of them. Okay, good. Yeah. And then the proteolytic enzyme. So like we usually recommend Wobenzyme or Sarah Gold is the one we're recommending right now. Okay. I would do that too. See if that helps.
That's helped
and
me
then some of it
tremendously.
With
like digestion.
Really?
Honestly.
Okay.
Yeah, I feel like that's changed my life.
Okay. So that's a good insight too, because it's like, okay, maybe now we're going to start to absorb and break down our fats, and then we're going to start getting the nourishment our skin needs to heal and grow. And then I would also translate that to fat is imperative to optimal egg quality, to optimal hormones, so all of that, like Chinese medicine, we're all about like, are we absorbing? And so then we can make blood and we can like nourish our cells and nourish these growing eggs and build that lining. So all of those things. So I think like all of that added together, plus removing the scar tissue. And I mean, I get the sense of urgency at 44, and obviously this has been a long and painful journey at this, thus far. So the IUIs might feel like, okay, I'm doing something. I'm not like doing the same thing over and over again, just expecting different results. Yeah. And then I might look into, doing more of like the low stim style IVF, like CCRM. They want to grow out to day 5. They only want transfer blasts that are tested.
Yeah.
Shady Grove's very similar. Yeah. So finding more of like, I like to call them the boutique clinics, and I would see that. And then you could look into the Pregmune testing too, which it's just pregmune.com. Okay. I think it's about $900 for the testing, and then your insurance tends to cover a lot of it. It kind of depends on who calls it in for you. Okay. So but that would give you even more information. And it's a beautiful report, and it gives you lots of like tips and things what to do next and different medications. And someone said, what was the supplement for digestion? So they're actually proteolytic enzymes. This one's called Sarah Gold by Enzymatica. They're all on my website under AIMEE'S.com/fertility supplements. We use it not really for digestion. It's really meant to, it helps break down proteins and kind of masses and accumulations. But it does seem to help digestion as well.
Okay, interesting.
Okay. Yeah. So, and then I mean, I'm sure you have, but I would also just kind of consider doing some trauma work around the loss, like some EMDR, something like that, because
hard to find a certified.
I know we have one on our team, by the way. Samantha
Oh.
is EMDR psychotherapist, and she does all her work virtually. She's our fertility trauma coach, but she's actually a PhD psychotherapist who does EMDR.
What was her name?
You can Samantha.
Samantha. Okay.
So it's on the same site, AIMEE'S.com/coaching. You'll see there's like fertility trauma coaching, and then there's fertility coaching.
Okay.
So she's the trauma coach.
Okay.
She's brilliant. And she gets it. But I also just think, you know, from that emotional inflammation perspective of like working that through, and then also getting in that space of it's safe for me to get pregnant again. It's safe for me to, you know, try this again. And also, you know, I think have a game plan. When I am pregnant again, I'm gonna schedule a C-section, and we're gonna do it at like 36 weeks, you know, whatever it is. And I'm gonna be doing all these things, and you're gonna be high risk, you're gonna get a lot of attention. But it's gonna be scary as fuck. It just is, you know, because of what you went through, you know. So you like, I think you own that on some level, but it's also like, is it so scary that it's gonna prevent me from ever trying again?
And that's why I'm like, I can't let it scare me that much, you know.
No.
So,
but it's devastating, you know, and it's
yeah.
And you were in it. You were just about to have a baby, and it was taken from you, and that sucks. Yeah. So, and for the whole family, I mean, everybody knew, you know. So it's like that's.
Oh yeah, yeah. I'm still like not okay.